Hey there, toy collector friends and Doctor Who fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, the time-travelling toy collector, and this is another entry into the collecting of the Doctor Who The Collection classic TV series in its limited edition format. This is freshly released. It's Doctor Who The Collection Season 20, the 20th anniversary season, as was. And it's much anticipated, long awaited. We've been waiting for this release to come out for a very long time. It's been quite the drought. So it's great to be able to insert this into the lineup of videos looking at the physical media associated with this release. For those of you who might be looking at this playlist for the very first time, I'm literally going through Doctor Who The Collection. I've reached a point where I'm now just doing all of the earliest season releases for all of the all of the Doctors that's been released so far. I'm going to plough through into the sort of the limited editions of the New Who as well, which includes the steelbook, the Blu Ray steelbooks for New Who that were released, and then infill as we get new editions of this particular series, and then once I've got through all the very first seasons of each Doctor, I'm then going to go back to the beginning and go through the pre-existing releases. That way it just makes sure that at the earliest opportunity I've got a video out for every single New Who Doctor and classic Doctor. So fingers crossed we'll get a second Doctor release soon, and then we'll have 100% of the classic Doctors represented in the classic limited edition format. So that's a little bit of a history of what we're looking at and how we're looking at it. It's not a review of the content. There's lots of great channels that will do that for you. But this is not that. This is more a review of what you get in the physical media, and a little bit of a discussion of whether or not we think it's value for money. Spoilers, I tend to say yes, and I'll give you my reasoning for that a bit later on. Before we get into the ins and outs of this, if you're watching this video and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's a small click for you and a massive, massive help for me. And whilst you're there, just click the like button as well, just to support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything but a mere click of a mouse key. I'll wait seconds for you now while you do it. Thank you so much. If you've already subscribed to the channel, please don't click the button, because you'll unsubscribe, and that's not helpful. That's the opposite, and then I'll have to keep saying it in every video. I am on my way to my next milestone in terms of subscribers, so please do subscribe. I don't usually waffle quite as much as this. I'm just really quite excited to get this in hand. It's been such a long time coming. So with that in mind, let's take a look. Again, we have got some fantastically binding artwork on the front. For those of you who are familiar with my approach to this, one of the key reasons I love this collection, from a collector point of view, is it does give us uniformity. We have been told that we're going to continue to see the same marketing and branding on the collection as it completes, which I think is fantastic, because it's such a rarity. Anyone who had the DVDs and even the VHS collections for Doctor Who will know just how inconsistent the spines were. So this is great. This is actually one of the meatier collections. One of the reasons for that is we have 3 discs inside, as you'll see shortly, given over to the 5 Doctors, because we actually get 3, I think it's 3, it's certainly no less than 3 separate versions of the 5 Doctors in this collection, which is absolutely, I think, incredible value for money. But we'll get on to the value for money very shortly. It comes in its slip cover, revealing too much about my medical conditions. So again, at the back, I'll bring it in a bit closer for you to have a look. You get another lovely dose of artwork up here of the Doctor and his companions for this season. We have Turlough, Nyssa, Tegan, and Chameleon, who's sort of a companion, sort of, that never is. So we get a list of what's concluded in here, and of course a breakdown of all the new material. And this is really where I suppose I should waffle a bit about my view on the value for money. If you think about it, each DVD in the old days, and I can't remember how much the VHSs were, but I think they were about 20 quid, or $9.99. I can't remember. It's annoying. If you remember, drop a comment in the comments below to remind me. I had quite a few of them because that's all we had back in the day. But yeah, certainly for the DVDs, tended to be around the $9.99, £12 mark, if I remember rightly. Then we had the special edition DVDs were slightly more expensive, but they came with a lot of dedicated special features. And what's lovely with this set is you get all of those special features that were included in the DVDs, including the special edition DVDs. You get all of that packaged in here. But you also get a ton of brand new, made for Blu Ray special features, which includes the behind the sofa panels, in conversations, updated special effects that you just turn on before you watch it, and then blah blah blah. It's honestly, there's so much you get. There's so much you get. And it says here, you've got 7 stories, and actually within the 7 stories, you've got, I think, 2 different versions of Enlightenment. I think you've also got the movie version of Enlightenment as well. There's 3 versions of the 5 Doctors, so there's a lot going on in here. So it's 7 classic stories, but actually a ton more when you think about it, in terms of the actual content and the documentaries and the original DVD release documentaries. And for each DVD that we would have back in the day, as we would say, back in the day, you're spending, upwards of a tenner. Tenner would be your sort of most vanilla editions. I think we've just seen that there's a new re-release of the animation of what is this been announced? The Underwater Menace. And I think that's something like 20 quid or $20, depending on where you are. And that's for 1 story. Here we're getting 7 stories, and as I say, a minimum of 3 versions of the 5 Doctors, 2 versions of Enlightenment. So actually, there's a lot. All of these new features, and this box set cost around 50 quid. Which isn't, even with just counting them as 7, it isn't, 10 quid a story. So you're getting the original story upscaled to Blu-ray standards, all of the extra features, all of the original special features, and that's coming in at around a tenner. And it's in this beautifully self-contained limited edition packaging. And this is why I think this is particularly good value for money. I really do. Because for a lot of people who may have come into Doctor Who now, you can't really get the DVDs. You can't really get them. Definitely can't get the VHSs without, looking online. And not many people have got a VHS player. I have, but it's built into an old TV, but I keep it for very specific things. And I'm a hoarder. I'm a hoarder collector. So, of course I have. But I think if you're brand new to Doctor Who and you've been introduced from when Christopher Eccleston came in, or David Tennant, or maybe it was Matt Smith, or maybe it was Peter Capaldi, or Jodie Whittaker, or maybe Ncuti Gatwa's coming in now, or all of these people who've brought Doctor Who back into mainstream family viewing, you want to watch the history of it, you want to collect the history of it, then for many of those people, this will be their way in. This is their gateway product as physical media. And I know we've got all exciting deals with Disney Plus and whatever to broadcast and stream classic Doctor Who or whatever all over the place. Marvellous. But you're not getting the special features. You're not getting the interviews. You're not getting the behind the scenes stuff. You're not getting the tons of PDFs that are being attached in here. So there's a lot of added value. And when you think, how much are you paying per story, I think it's really good value. I genuinely do. And I don't get commission for it. I'm not selling any of them. I just think, you know, if people want to have the honest conversation, is it value for money? From my point of view, yes. It also is, and I've said this before and people will laugh at me, it's a massive safe space saver. We already know that this is quite a chunky one, but you're taking away 7 stories off your shelf. Now, if you're me, you're probably putting them in a box somewhere and hoarding them. Yeah, okay, fine. But for a lot of people, the 26 original seasons will not take up as much space as 26 seasons of individual stories. You know, packaged up very nicely, thank you very much. So, all in all, personally, I think it's very hard to argue against it being value for money. I do understand that some people might go, well, it's very expensive and it's for stories that have already been released. Okay, that is a fair point, and my counter to that is, that's great if you've already got them and you've been collecting them for a long time. If you're new to it, you don't have access to that. So think of it as being tailored for that market. Also, you might want to think about, you know, you might want to reduce down your collection, downsize it. This enables you to do that. But also, they're beautifully remastered. And I've not had a single incident where I've looked at the quality of the program and gone, this is a step down. It's always been a step up, and the work that's done with it has been fantastic. So yeah, for me, it's a clear win. Is it a reinvestment in old material? I would say there is an element of that. So yeah, I would understand some people going, well, I've already got it. I don't need to get this. I don't need to spend another £50. And that's a personal choice, and you're absolutely right to make that choice. If you don't want to get it, don't get it. If you don't see the value in it, because to you there is no value in it, that's great, that's fine. Don't get it. I would be mindful, though, if that's your view and you're entitled to have it, of then saying to people whose view is, this is great, there's so many new things, it's wonderful artwork, it solidifies the collection, it's everything I always wanted my Doctor Who collection to look like. You don't need to pour cold water over theirs just because they want to have it. So, and I think that sometimes happens in collecting spheres. People who don't want to collect something, or they think it's a waste of their money, feel that therefore that opinion should be appreciated by everybody else. I appreciate that might be your opinion, and I can see why you might come from that perspective. And I very nearly did the same thing myself and never bought that first 4th Doctor release, but I did, and I've not looked back, and I couldn't be more grateful that I didn't give in to those thoughts, because those were my thoughts. I'm happily expose myself as having those thoughts. I won't expose myself in any other way, but with those thoughts, yes. But again, this has delivered and delivered and delivered. And hopefully through this video series, you'll get a chance to see all of them and the beauty within. So talking of the beauty within, let's get this slipcase off. Pop it over here out of the way and take a look at the unimpeded. Let's just make sure that stays nicely together. The unimpeded artwork there, the Lee binding artwork. I think that, I mean, it's just beautiful. There's just so much to love about it. The sort of muted TARDIS interior colour scheme, or as I always perceived the interior of the TARDIS colour scheme being used as the predominant colour on the box. Here we have Peter Davison as the 5th Doctor, using the snake dance charm. You can see all of the collection of villainous characters amassing on the cover there. We'll take a look at the back. This is beautiful. Usually on the back we get a TARDIS shot of one description or another. In this case, it's still a TARDIS shot, but it's so much more. We get a TARDIS shot, but we also get the Black Guardian in that swirling spatial anomalous void, complete with the galleons from Enlightenment. And I just think that's a fantastic piece of artwork. So let's open her up and see what's inside, as tends to be how we operate here. So let me just check you can see that. Yeah, that looks okay. So we get all of the discs over here, Each one of them is a lovely picture disc. They all swing out in their plastic case. There's a lovely illustration for each of the series. Apologies for that sound of it dragging across the stand. I'll try and avoid it. We get all of the sort of core characters nicely illustrated here. Lovely Linda Barron there, who I once worked with. A fantastic, fantastic collection. And as you can see, one of the reasons it's the most expensive is it does come through. We've got the 5 Doctors transmission version. We've got the 5 Doctors 40th anniversary edition. And we've got the 5 Doctors special edition as was released. For those of you who are unaware, there is the one of the special editions that came out of the 5 Doctors also had a Easter egg commentary with Russell T Davies and David Tennant and so on. That is also included, so you do get that as well. So all that's, you know, in here. Fantastic artwork over here. It's sticking to the trend, which I'll come on to in a second. What's very nice here is you've got the 5 Doctors. You've got Richard Handel playing the first Doctor. We've got Pete Davis and John Pertwee and Patrick Troughton. And then in this sort of shattered, almost Key to Time-esque colours of the... I suppose it's the time scoop gone wrong. We see the 4th Doctor as played by Tom Baker, as he sort of appeared in the 5th Doctor, in the 5 Doctors anniversary special. This artwork is, again, beautiful, and it has that flap that sort of intersects down the centre of the TARDIS. So we move to open up that TARDIS, and there we have that artwork from the back of the slipcase that you saw there with the Doctor surrounded by his companions. We open this up, and out falls the booklet. So you get the other products booklet, which includes the diamond logo celebrating the 60th anniversary. And here we have, again, that mirrored artwork there, but this time as part of our collector's booklet. On the back we have publicity photos, a little bit raunchy there for Sarah Sutton as Nyssa, but the publicity photos for the supporting cast. Again, I'm not going to go through all of this because, again, if it really interests you, you'll have already picked it up and be either eagerly awaiting it to arrive, or it has arrived already. But we do get this wonderful booklet, and I think, again, I've talked about the beauty of the design, the beauty of the content and the upscaling, but there's so much. And again, people will say, yeah, but it's nothing we don't know, it's nothing that's not been put together in other magazines, etc., etc., and that might be true, but I love that it's all here together. Some of it is definitely going to be original because the information pertaining to some of the background features is brand new, so it can only be brand new, but it takes you through each of the stories. It tells you all of the special features, because of course it does. There's some lovely behind the scenes photos, there's some lovely artwork, there's production information, you know, there's tons, and of course there's a lot here. I mean, I'm struggling to get through it all, just whizzing through it this way. But there's just an awful lot to cover. And it covers it brilliantly. There's no skimping. And here you can see discs 7, 8, 9 are all given over to the 5 Doctors and various different iterations of that special. And then there's, again, the back behind the scenes blurb, which is terrific. It's, you know, it just is. It is. I've said it before. It's a love letter to the series, and you know, it's a damn good one. It's a damn good one. So I'm going to pop these back in here. Oh, sorry, I haven't. It's remiss of me. In here, you can also see the 5th Doctor's console room. This is pre the 5 Doctors, so we've still got the old console there, and it's got that lighting. I think that lighting is from Terminus, if I remember rightly, but I could be wrong, but I think it's from Terminus, because I think I remember Tegan and Turlough playing chess, which I don't know I'd necessarily have gone with, but yeah, again, it's another beautiful thing, and it's just lovely. The artwork of it is lovely, the construction of it is lovely. I sound like I'm just fawning over it, and that's partly because I am. I fully accept that, but it's because I can fawn over it, because it is such a beautiful, beautiful collection. But as a beautiful collection, does it warrant a slot on your shelf, as it were? Well, if you are a fan of Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who particularly, then for me it's a no-brainer. As you've probably already gathered, I think it's a fantastic physical media collectible. Will they ever top it? I don't know how. Whatever comes after Blu Ray, maybe they'll do something. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you would top this, to be honest. And I think, well, there's some sort of immersive VR, which inserts you into the stories. So I think we're probably a few years away from that. But yeah, I think if you are new to Doctor Who and you're looking to access that entire history of classic Who, this is the consummate way to do it. It's beautiful, the behind the scenes features, the special features unique to the set, absolutely fantastic. If the limited edition packaging isn't quite to your budget, which is equally fair enough, or you've missed out on limited edition, don't forget there will be a standard edition. So it's in a sort of standard blue plastic Blu-ray Blu-ray case. So, same artwork, but you don't get the extensive design because it's a limited edition. So you know you are paying a bit for that. But I think, excuse me, I think if we take that into consideration, I think the price point is even more impressive. And I don't want this channel to be about price points. I don't want this channel to be about buying stuff to resell it later on. I always think it's a bit sad if people are buying stuff just to resell it, because then you're just a shop, basically. And that's not really what I'm about. I'm more about the appreciation of the stuff. And I really appreciate this. I think it's lovely to see a classic series get the love and attention it really warrants, and definitely didn't get in the day. Certainly not to the level that it was due. But then that's so often the case nostalgically, isn't it? People don't always appreciate or know what they've got until they're looking back at it from quite a distance. And this year we're celebrating the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, so technically they must have been doing something right to have got this far. Anyway, this has been Doctor Who The Collection Season 20, the limited edition Blu-ray set, and the latest entry into Doctor Who The Collection, the archival super set, brought to you from the BBC. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As I mentioned right at the start, if you have done, if you found it useful, if you found it insightful as to whether or not you want to fork out and get this set, please hit the like button. You know, irrespective of whether you want to buy it or not, if I've helped you reach that decision or reaffirm the decision you've already made, click that like button. It's really useful. But in the same vein, please do subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing. I'm not operating any sort of Patreon, as I've mentioned. I'm not selling anything. I'm just giving people the opportunity to have a look at stuff, make their own minds up, and in order to help reach as many people as possible, the more you subscribe, the more YouTube will promote it, and so on and so forth. You know how it works. It's all algorithms and gizmocotopiums, which is a thing I just invented. Anyway, thank you very much for spending the last 23 or 24 minutes with me. I know you've got a lot of other things you could be doing, and now you're free to go and do them. If you've not seen any of the other Doctor Who The Collection reviews, I call them reviews. Again, they're not really reviews because I don't look at the content. I'm actually just looking at the collectible physical media element in this video. But by all means, check them out. As I say, I did start doing them all, and then I thought, no, I'm just going to make a point of doing a monthly, or as monthly as possible, look at the first release in each of the Doctor's runs, and then go back and infill along the way. Do please check it out. Check out my other playlists around Doctor Who collectibles. If you're into Star Trek or Star Wars or Transformers or G.I. Joe or Battlestar Galactica or anything really like that, have a little look around. There might be something that catches your eye, tickles your fancy, and all sorts of things like that. Thanks for sticking with me. Hopefully I'll see you in a future video. I've been the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You've been a wonderful audience. And as I said, this has been Doctor Who The Collection Season 20. And it just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty really is a toy. Forever. Bye-bye for now.